It was December 2022 when famous football star Cristiano Ronaldo signed with Saudi Arabia's Al-Nassr, just a few weeks after Qatar hosted 2022's World Cup. It was one of the biggest transfers in the history of sports and a huge success for the Gulf region. Karim Benzema then followed suit, signing a mammoth contract with Saudi club Al-Ittihad on June 6. As did other famous stars including N'Golo Kante and Ruben Neves. Others are expected to follow the same path by the end of the summer transfer window. These moves have certainly brought the Gulf under the spotlight, but the region's success did not happen in a single day. To understand how the Gulf states, particularly Saudi Arabia, try to turn the region into a global sports hub, we need to go back in history, especially to the story of the English Premier League. 2003 was an important year for the booming football industry in Europe as EPL club Chelsea was purchased by Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich.
The English Premier League has allowed football to become an industry. This situation has generated enormous revenues from the television rights for this competition.
Several other Russian oligarchs followed suit, buying European clubs like Everton, Bournemouth, and AS Monaco. The Glazer family from the US partially bought Manchester United in 2005, boosting the market value of the league. Currently, around half of EPL clubs are partially or fully owned by foreign investors.
First of all, we have to understand sport is a business today. It's a multi-billion business and industry.
Gulf countries came up with a multi-layered plan to seize the opportunity and started investing.
The Gulf states entered into the market, especially after the global financial crisis, when the Western countries and businesses were really hit hard by that crisis. So they needed money and investment from the Gulf state sovereign wealth funds.
Dubai's ruler Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum once said that sports is a multi-billion-dollar charm offensive.
The Gulf countries saw the opportunity to diversify their business. Diversifying is key in the capitalist economy. At the same time, these countries, the Gulf countries, have normalized their presence in the West.
The Abu Dhabi United Group purchased Manchester City in 2008, and that has changed the face of the club, the English League, and possibly even football forever. Another European football club, Paris Saint-Germain, was acquired by Qatar Sports Investment, a sovereign wealth fund, in 2011. QSI has spent more than 1.5 billion euros or over $1.6 billion in transfers so far. An investment that has already paid off with the great success of PSG winning the 8th French league titles in the last decade and becoming a global brand. The strategy behind takeovers is similar to all business investments. Money attracts talent, talent brings success, and ultimately more money. Gulf investments also extended to blockbuster sponsorship deals. When top Gulf airlines Al-Ittihad Airways, Emirates Airlines, and Qatar Airways started funding major sporting events and football clubs. Qatar Airways was the sponsor of the Asian Games 2018 and UEFA's Euro 2020, and has most recently become Formula One's global airline partner, replacing Emirates. Qatar and the UAE also invested heavily in infrastructure while hosting major international sports events such as the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022.
20 years ago, it was very difficult to imagine that the World Cup will be held in Qatar. And for example, the Spanish Super Cup will be held in Saudi Arabia. But now it happens.
Qatar spent more than $250 billion to build stadiums and infrastructure to host the most prestigious tournament in football, and staged an exceptional event.
I want to highlight and stress, of course, the unanimous praise of the FIFA Council for this World Cup, for the unique cohesive power that this World Cup has shown. Thanks to everyone who was involved, to, of course, Qatar, all the volunteers, workforce, all of you, everyone who has contributed to make this World Cup the best World Cup ever.
Organisationen 10 poäng, upplevelsen 10 poäng, matchen 10 poäng, publiken 10 poäng, maten 10 poäng, resan 10 poäng, allt var 10 poäng.
Qatar has also built a wide network in sports with its beIN Sports brand, broadcasting sports in many countries and regions like Italy, Spain, France, MENA countries, and the Asia-Pacific region. Following its neighbor's decades-long strategy, Saudi Arabia started investing in global sports as part of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030 project to rebrand the image of the country. The country's sovereign wealth fund, the Public Investment Fund, has been the driving force behind the kingdom's investment in the global sports ecosystem. The fund took over Newcastle United of EPL with a $409 million purchase in October 2021. And legendary striker Cristiano Ronaldo signed a record-breaking deal with Saudi Arabia's Al-Nassr in December 2022. Making headlines worldwide, Ronaldo's transfer is possibly one of the most significant moves in sports in the Gulf countries. And the transfer brought Saudi Arabia one step closer to its ambition of becoming a global sports hub, having already signed overseas broadcast deals following its acquisition of the football star.
It is to send a message across to the world that we are serious about sport and we want to develop this industry and we want to be really prominent players in this industry.
Meanwhile, Saudi authorities announced the privatization plan of state-owned clubs aiming to boost its football league into the world's top 10 and to encourage companies to invest in sports, particularly in football. The PIF initiated the project, taking control of 4 leading football clubs: Al-Ittihad, Al-Hilal, Al-Nassr, and Al-Ahli.
Obviously, privatization, it is about the development of the game and introducing professionalism, but also encouraging investments from overseas into Saudi Arabia to invest in their domestic football clubs.
Saudi clubs have significant leverage over the Premier League and other European clubs as they are not restricted by UEFA's financial fair play rules. This means there is no limit to the salaries the PIF can offer. And top sports players can be lured into the country with generous financial incentives. Many famous players are expected to join the Saudi League by the end of August, which will likely make Saudi football more competitive. Saudi Arabia had also become a major player in professional golf after the shock merger of PGA and DP World Tours with the PIF-backed Live Golf Series in June 7.
Today is historic, because ourselves, the PGA Tour, and the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, known as the PIF, are coming together to form a commercial entity that will unify men's professional golf.
Savvy Games Group, the PIF subsidiary, acquired ESL, the world's largest esports company, in 2022. As Saudi capital Riyadh hosted Gamers 8, the world's biggest esports and gaming event, in the summer of 2022. Saudi oil giant Aramco signed a partnership deal with the International Cricket Council in October 2022 to sponsor all major ICC events until the end of 2023. The multi-billion-dollar company is also the exclusive sponsor of the Indian Premier League. After hosting international events including Formula One Grand Prix, Dakar Rally, and Live Golf Tours, and some major international boxing bouts in recent years, the kingdom is now bidding to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup, aiming to attract more tourists and investors to the country. The Public Investment Fund and other Gulf businesses have the economic power to make lucrative offers to top talent and athletes in various sports, at the expense of disrupting the traditional structures in place in sports. This will likely change the way that sports are organized and marketed.
Usually the Gulf states are getting their funds from their sovereign wealth funds, which is acting as a vehicle for investments. Let's say if the Manchester City wants to have player A and Manchester United wants the same player A, but the Manchester City has the resources and able to purchase and offer more, so it increases the price for that player, and it affects the whole market.
Russian and Chinese investments in sports have seemingly failed. Will the Gulf countries learn from their mistakes and be able to pursue their multi-layered strategy and massive investments in global sports and turn the region into a global sports hub?